Well, it is my special honor to introduce a global business leader and a committed transatlanticist, Joe Kaeser, and to present him with the 2018 John J. McCloy Award. As many of you know, Joe Kaeser has spent his entire professional life at Siemens, an impressive span of 38 years. Made more impressive when you know that he started when he was 12. During that period, just to put it in context, we've had 4 German chancellors, 6 American presidents, and 2 World Cup victories for Die Mannschaft. Not bad, huh? Joe began at Siemens in 1980 in the business field of components and semiconductors, a job that took him to Malaysia and the United States. In 1999, he joined the corporate finance department and was instrumental in the preparations for Siemens' stock market listing on Wall Street. Boy, I bet a lot of us here wish we were part of that offering way back when. Joe also oversaw the worldwide conversion of the company's accounting system to the US GAAP standard. I can tell you that is no easy task. In the 2000s, Joe held a number of positions, including Chief Financial Officer of the Information and Communication Mobile Group, Chief Strategy Officer of Siemens AG, where he guided the company's long-term strategic orientation to global megatrends, and as CFO from 2006 to 2013. And about the time that Kimberly and I arrived in Berlin, Joe became president and CEO, the 13th in the company's more than 165-year history. And he was personally very helpful to me as we worked to manage the fallout from the NSA affair, which certainly dominated much of my first few months in Germany. And we worked together to help refocus attention on the importance of the transatlantic relationship. So I want to thank you for that. In addition to his role at Siemens, Joe is a member of the supervisorial boards of Daimler AG, Allianz Deutschland, and NXP Semiconductors, NV. But what his Lebenslauf doesn't tell you about Joe is his deep commitment to bettering society. In an article posted on his LinkedIn profile, Joe notes that Werner von Siemens once said, "I won't sell the future for short-term gain." And Joe believes that philosophy is still worth following today, writing, "In my view, the purpose of every organization, of every business, is to make a positive and sustainable contribution to society, to a better future. To achieve this, companies have to work hard on their adaptability and competitiveness every day, in the short term and with long-term benefit in mind. Only those who are strong will be able to help others and make a positive contribution to society in the long run." Whether it's championing vocational training to better provide the next generation with the skills of the future, fighting global climate change, investing in the rejuvenation of communities, or speaking out against populist forces that are dividing societies and driving us back toward a less secure and less prosperous time, Joe Kaeser is a passionate advocate for innovation, inclusive capitalism, and the positive, forward-looking transformation of business and society. Meine Damen und Herren, ladies and gentlemen, it is again a personal privilege and great honor to present the ACG's 2018 John J. McCloy Award to Joe Kaeser. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'll put it back down here. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador Emerson, Consul General Gill, Secretary Pritzker, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you so much for that kind introduction. I hardly got that much positive in one speech ever in my 38 years of service in Siemens. So thank you very much. He's a diplomat, so you could tell today. Thank you also for your leadership in promoting those really close transatlantic ties, Dr. Sokol. And obviously I do thank the American Council on Germany for the McCloy Award today. While I really greatly appreciate this award, the nearly 380,000 Siemens employees worldwide, among them more than 50,000 colleagues here in the United States, they deserve this recognition. And I'm happy and honored to accept this award also on their behalf. Not 38 years ago, but 50 years ago. 50 years ago, I could not have imagined ever speaking to such a distinguished audience here in New York City. 50 years ago, Soviet tanks rolled into Prague. My family and I were worried. We lived in a very small village, about 2 miles away from the Czechoslovakian border. The Iron Curtain was the end of the world. This is where the world ended. And when the conflict of what was called the Prague Spring, which actually happened in fall, when this Prague Spring escalated, and we could hear the noise from the tank fire, us children were scared even more. And then my grandma said, at the time, she said, "Der Amerikaner wird uns schon helfen." The Americans will stand by us. We did not exactly know who she meant, but she gave us comfort. And this is how I learned about America. When the United States brought the first man on the moon. This was not only the first time that I was allowed to stay up all night and watch TV. It was also our victory against the Sputniks. This is how I experienced this great country and this great nation. Always great. So why make it great again? A nation is not great because of its trade balance. It's great because of its people. People like JFK, who had the vision to bring the first man to the moon. Or Ronald Reagan, who challenged Mikhail Gorbachev, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Just 2 years later, hundreds of thousands of Germans protested peacefully in Berlin and tore down the wall. And then, when the wall came down in November 9th, 1989, the joy of that moment resonated throughout the world. And this would not have been feasible, without one of America's greatest sons. the late George H.W. Bush. He made it finally happen. He never praised himself about it, because he knew that people knew. Today, much of the Iron Curtain has become a green ribbon of trees and scrubs. Today, Germany is united and free, and the Czech Republic is part of the European Union. And the award I'm receiving today bears the name of a leader who laid the groundwork for the reconstruction of Germany's economy after World War II, John J. McCloy, another hero in the history of German-American friendship. He was a man of vision and one of many American leaders who championed freedom and democracy in Europe, and last but not least, gave Germany its dignity back to where it belonged to. I'm deeply grateful for that, and thank you, America. Thank you, John McCloy. Thank you all. I will never forget that, nor will be millions of Germans ever forget that. And yet we need to make sure that people will never forget. Don't forget about the United States being our greatest, our closest, and our most reliable ally. We need to make sure that people do not forget that Germany is a committed and strategic partner in the heart of Europe. The world has gotten more complicated. It's faster, it's become multilateral, and it's divided up into many active players. And as terrible and frightening the Cold War was, today it almost feels like the good old days of bilateral relationship. The West against the East, the good and the bad, the beauty and the beast, although both sides might have a slightly different view about who the beast was. If there ever had been a time where the Cold War would actually, and the world could actually have been explained in 280 characters, that would have been the time. Today takes more than that. Takes a lot more than that. Today it takes dialogue to unite a divided society. Today it takes courage to speak up against racism, nationalism, and speak up for human rights. Today it also takes, more than ever, people like John McCloy. Last but not least, it takes leaders who show our people the way. People like you here in this room. We do not exactly know what the world will look like in the future. But it will be different, definitely very different, because the fourth industrial revolution will change the way we live, will change the way we work, and will change the way we communicate. The Internet of Things, that's how we call when the Internet reaches the industrial world, will bring along something the world, its nations and its governments are not used to, nor are they prepared for. It will create an extraterritorial world of connectivity happening almost real-time speed. So how will governments who are used to territorial principles, like integrity of law and borders as boundaries, how will those governments react? What will they do? Building ever stronger boundaries, raising trade barriers, may not really help to master those challenges at hand. We need to get ready. We need to get ready for that future. The fourth industrial revolution, as all three industrial revolutions before, have created a better world. So we need to create a better world also when the Internet of Things is finally going to happen. But it definitely will raise the bar. It will raise the bar for leadership, the political, the societal, and the economical leadership. And we will raise the bar also for us here, providing leadership as we are here in this room. Integrating society will play a crucial role, as will helping the weaker ones who are in demand. The world needs much more speed. It will never be faster, and we cannot bring everybody along. So we need to help the weak ones to stay intact and also to have a perspective. We need to do as John McCloy and so many others did in this great nation. And on behalf of all who have been benefiting from them, I'd like to thank the American Council on Germany for its leadership in this regard. You have been a living example on how leadership gets applied to society and to the people, to Germany and the American-German friendship and relationship. So I'm really honored to share this spotlight that evening with Penny Pritzker, who's been one of these people. Thank you, Penny. Thank you for working tirelessly to find and build the ties and bridges between the United States of America and Europe, and obviously in particular in Germany. Thank you for advocating free trade, and thank you for advocating international peace and freedom, as we had for more than 70 years on this beautiful planet. So thank you all again. Thank you for the award. Happy to be here. Thanks again for that great recognition. Thank you.